A major WWE star is injured and has been pulled from the draft. Plus, a title match has been added to AEW Double or Nothing. And Tony Khan got attacked on AEW Dynamite last night. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. We spoke yesterday on the news about the Jey Uso-Jimmy Uso match from WrestleMania. Jey Uso was very open recently about saying that he feels like they disappointed the fans. There were time constraints on the match that meant they didn't really give what they wanted to give. We were quite optimistic about another one between these two, just to give them another go at it. According to a report by Fightful Select, Andrew, that's probably not going to happen for a bit.
Yeah, Fightful Select saying Jimmy Uso has been sidelined with an undisclosed injury. We weren't given details on how long he's out, but it was enough to keep him out of the WWE Draft pool after being booted from the Bloodline.
It was then noted that Jimmy's name was absent from the lists that were released yesterday of eligible wrestlers for the draft. So there's two pools of each of the different wrestlers, and Jimmy Uso's name no longer in there, and it was from there it was revealed that yes, Uso is out with an injury. Obviously full and speedy recovery to Jimmy Uso. I think his comeback will be, there's a potential here to pull off something really special.
Yeah, I think so too, with him and Jay coming back together finally to tackle Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. I think that feels logical in where it would go next once Jimmy is healthy and back on TV, and I hope this also gives a lot of time for Solo and Tama Tonga just to run absolutely wild on the roster as well and just dominate for a little while at least anyway, to really ramp up their sort of just how heelish they can be, how violent they can be. Yeah, how vicious. Just I'm excited for when we finally get there.
Maybe SummerSlam we get Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy and Jay. A reunited Jimmy and Jay.
That would be really, really cool.
That'd be special, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be a nice thing to do. The draft starts tomorrow in the WWE. They shared the rules last night of the draft for 2024. There's going to be 4 rounds of draft picks tomorrow night on SmackDown. A total of 16 wrestlers to be picked.
And then there will be 6 rounds on Raw with 24 total picks as well.
The champions on each brand will be protected, which means that we will not see the world heavyweight, the men's world, the women's world, the world tag leave Raw, and I presume it means that the Intercontinental title will stay on Raw as well.
Yeah,
and then SmackDown will keep the WWE title, WWE tag title, WWE women's title, and the United States title. They'll stay there. They are excluded from the draft, not to be confused with a draft excluder. Look at that lovely long dog.
Oh, well, you say the women's tag team titles maybe on SmackDown. However, the women's tag team champions are eligible for the draft because those titles can obviously go between each brand. However, I believe from what the post that WWE put out said, wherever Kairi and Asuka get drafted to,
that's where the titles go.
Wherever they get, so they'll still be able to defend the titles across the brands. However, when they lose the titles, that will be the brand that they go to.
A bit like when Triple H was the Undisputed Champion in 2002, which we have talked about recently on the Cultaholic Classic SmackDown review. A brand new podcast dropping on Saturday. Little tease, drop it in there. So the women's tag titles obviously eligible. SmackDown are going to get the first pick tomorrow night. They get the first pick of the pool. The Raw lot are going to get the first pick on Monday. So Raw will get pick number 1 where the draft continues on Monday.
And then the rosters will be locked in place on Monday, May 6th. That's the Monday following Backlash, I believe, as well. So pretty soon things are going to be locked in, ready to go. Brand new era for WWE.
It's a shiny new time. We'll keep you up to date with all WWE Draft related shenanigans, of course, at cultaholic.com. AEW Dynamite took place last night, and last night we had a title match confirmed for Double or Nothing.
Yeah, so Will Ospreay won a Casino Gauntlet match over Jay White, Dante Martin, Penta, Kyle O'Reilly, Lance Archer, Commander, and Jay Lethal to earn the next shot at Roderick Strong's AEW International Championship. That match has indeed been made official for Double or Nothing. It was a great match. I really enjoyed it.
And a fun little bit regarding the Tiger Driver 91.
Ooh, yeah, because he was going to do that on Kyle O'Reilly, and then he was like, maybe I shouldn't. So he didn't end up doing that. However, like after his win, they were backstage, and Don Callis is there trying to tease. He's telling Will Ospreay to hit that move against Roderick Strong at Double or Nothing to break his neck, to take the title. However, Will was like, Don't want to do that. Even Kyle Fletcher was like, listen, Don Callis, no, he's won the match. He's fine. There's tensions there. And I'm excited to see where we go because it'll obviously, lead to Will leaving. Maybe even United Empire as well, getting out of the fray of that as well with Kyle Fletcher too leaving. So.
I wonder whether the reluctance to hit the Tiger Driver 91 or maybe pressure from Don Callis for him to hit it will lead to the finish in the match against Roddy.
That's what I'm thinking. Do we think Roddy still retains the title? The hesitation there not to use the Storm Driver or the Tiger Driver sort of costs Will the match, maybe.
I think we tease using that move until maybe he wins the world title and he pulls it out of the bag to win the world title.
Well, I think that the thing is when he becomes, if he were like a full-blown heel, that's the move that he busts out, right? To cement. I'm a big bad now because I'm gonna drop this move. Yeah. Maybe at least anyway. I don't know.
I kind of see a scene with him looking to hit the Tiger Driver and changing his mind, and then an opponent maybe like Bryan Danielson going, "Just do it, do it,
just do it."
In that kind of just put me out of misery. Just do it.
Yeah, no.
Maybe there's it's an interesting little storyline fleck, and it's Will Ospreay challenging Roddy for the international title at Double or Nothing, as well as the TBS title on the line, Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné. We're on our way to that as well. But the big talking point coming out of last night's Dynamite was the very fate of Tony Khan.
My goodness
what
gracious me.
What happened to Tony?
So, last night, obviously, we saw Jack Perry there at AEW Dynamite in Daly's place. And at the end of the show, Jack Perry invited Tony Khan to the ring. He tried to bury the hatchet and get his job back in AEW. Khan, as well, seemingly agreed by embracing Jack Perry with a hug, lifted his arm and everything. And it was a ruse, though. Who could have seen that coming? Jack Perry punched Khan in the stomach with a microphone. This then obviously brought out the Young Bucks and Okada. And they were sort of scolding Perry for what he did, being like, that's the boss, what are you doing? They sort of picked him up and teased almost hitting the BTE trigger.
They looked
the
to do
EVP
it,
trigger,
didn't they?
should I say? Yeah. And Okada was like, no, what are you doing? So instead, they gave Tony Khan the Tony Khan driver.
The me driver? Don't hit me with the me driver! And they did, and he was out, and he was done. And then a few refs and medical guys got into the ring, and as the Elite left, with Jack Perry and Okada there as well, the wrestlers came into the ring, as did Shahid Khan.
Yeah, he did.
Tony's dad made an appearance on Dynamite.
My goodness gracious. Do you know what? I thought it was a fun segment. I really enjoyed it. And also, Jack Perry, I feel like he's gone on leaps and bounds with his microphone work as well. I really enjoyed that segment. I genuinely did.
And it's one that Tony Khan has continued to sold after the fact. Fightful Select saying that Tony Khan is selling the effects of the injury even on a closed set. The advertised grudge match between Chucky T and Trent, the parking lot brawl that you will see, actually was filmed Thursday, the early hours of this morning after Dynamite. Tony Khan was on the scene for it. He was selling in a neck brace after being beaten down by the Elite. And there is a lot of wrestlers within AEW who are hoping, praying, lighting candles that maybe Tony Khan turns up for the NFL draft programming with a neck brace on.
Commit to the bit.
Commit to the bit, Tony Khan. I've seen lots of praise for this whole angle.
Yeah.
I've seen a few people call out the fact that Tony Khan said that he would never be physically involved in the storylines. It was something that he said in an interview a while back. And the fear that there is a retread of an authority angle in the midst as well. Those conversations there. But in terms of what he did and how it was delivered, I thought it was great.
I thought it was great.
And
I imagine, and I'm hoping as well, this is obviously what I feel like it's going to lead to, it elevating the fact that when Kenny Omega comes back, it's going to be like a big deal. This is the guy to save, everybody from the big bads at the top of the totem pole.
I feel like it's a shame that the Kenny Omega return at Winnipeg got leaked, because I feel like Kenny just turning up next week off the back of this attack would have probably had a bit more.
Yeah, for sure. No, it would have done,
potentially.
Yeah.
But I thought fair play, Tony. Took a lovely himself driver to close out Dynamite last night. For the very latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out Cultaholic.com. Keys.
I love you, bye.